bad, guys. Uh, the power went out. Obviously, as I knew it would, or as I thought it would. I hope you guys join back. The power went out. Thunder struck and the power was gone. So, as I was saying, what I was saying, hey, C Stay, how's it going, man? How are you? So, as I was saying regarding the MK Ultra hearings, it's a bit ridiculous to have Congress talk about these people need to be held accountable. It's like we're saying that. We're telling you to hold them accountable. Don't you have power over anything? What is your position? It just seems theatrical. It seems theatrical. It seems like all of these people are somehow in on it because, as Lisa Campbell said, they're talking about things that happened in the past. Hey, Gracie, how's it going? Walaikum salam. I missed you too. I missed you too. Um, they're talking about things that happened in the past. You know, we're talking about Charles Manson. Charles Manson has passed away since 2017. Charles Manson was a victim of MK Ultra and a CIA asset back in like the 60s, man. It just seems a bit in the 60s and 70s. Well, 60s, but it just seems a bit ridiculous. Hey, Brendan, thanks for the gift, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, brother. Oh, that's cool, Gracie. That's awesome. That's awesome. You mean the countries? The Republic and the Democratic Republic? Sorry. So you've learned about Lumumba, perhaps. That's an interesting story. I mean, of course, there's a story they tell, and then the actual story, the exploitation of. Okay, yeah. So you are talking about the Congo. Yeah, yeah. The wars that they incite in order to create chaos and divide and conquer, and skate off with the resources as they do in every single country. And then when they start to fight back and try to have sovereignty over their own resources, the same way that Burkina Faso is doing right now. I don't know how to say it in English. Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso is doing right now. They call the president a schmerist for privatizing his resources. I mean, they're his. It's his country. Anyways, the whole MK Ultra hearing did feel very, yeah, Ibrahim Traore, he is a hero, indeed. But yeah, the MK Ultra hearings felt very theatrical. Like, oh, guys, we're doing stuff. We're doing stuff about this, just to kind of give like the image of them doing things. But the truth is, oh, it's all good. His name is Ibrahim Traore. Traore. Oh, we already got a gang stalker here. Yeah, have a good one. Yeah. So it felt it just it really felt theatrical because they were saying these people need to be held accountable, these people need to be investigated, and it's like by whom? Are you asking us? Because when they uncovered, the MK Ultra, all the MK Ultra experiments went on since the 40s. And then in the 70s, 30 years later, mind you, they had the church committee and they broke in the offices of the CIA and stole the documents. There was a man, I can't remember, I know his last name was Church. I can't remember his actual name. I'll give it to you right now. The Church Commission. Church Commission. The Church Committee was a U.S. Select Committee in 1975 that investigated abuses by the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, the National Security Agency, the NSA, the the Criminal Department of the government, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS and the FBI. And it was spearheaded by Mr. Church, but I want his name. Sorry. I would like his name. Senator Frank Church. Senator Frank Church in 1975 was responsible for publicly exposing the CIA's illegal mind control and human experimentation program known as Project MK Ultra, which, of course, if you were a victim of, everybody called you crazy. Everybody said, "What are you talking about? The government would never do that. Why would they do it?" And then it's like, if they did that, why would they do it to you? What makes you so important that they would do it? And then if you're so important that they would do it to you, it's what did you do? Did you commit a crime? Are you you must be a terrorist because the government would not waste their time torturing innocent civilians when in fact Project MK Ultra was exactly that. They were going after children, lots of orphans. They were going after mental hospital patients. They were placing a lot of people in mental hospitals wrongfully, including a lot of kids. In my town, in my city, Montreal, they were called the Duplessis children. Duplessis, it's a last name. But there was an orphanage, which I believe was called the Duplessis Orphanage, and they took a bunch of children and labeled them mentally ill illegally, and then moved them to a mental hospital, and then started torturing these kids. LSD, electroshock therapy. They would sensory deprivation. The early version of V2K, they would play these tapes on loudspeakers all night that were repeating the same sentences, such as "you're selfish, you deserve this," or sometimes it was positive things as well. It was like early V2K, early gang stalking tactics on kids. They were doing it on children. But it just feels very theatrical because it is impossible to be in a position of power and not receive a bunch of letters or, a bunch of emails from people that are going through this stuff, telling you about it. And, when it comes to MK Ultra and gang stalking, which is, it's the same thing. Gang stalking is a continuation of MK Ultra. When it comes to that, you don't have to do a lot of research. It is the same spelling, but there's no space between the U and P. It's Duplessis in one word. You're correct. It's the Duplessis children. It happened in Montreal. You know, there was a man who did an interview with local news, who was one of the Duplessis children, the Duplessis orphans, sorry, not the Duplessis children, the Duplessis orphans. And I mean, just to give you the quick rundown, the Duplessis orphans were thousands of Quebec children wrongly certified as mentally ill and confined to a psychiatric institution in the 40s and 50s, orchestrated by the provincial government under Premier Maurice Duplessis and the Catholic Church. The scheme falsely labeled children, many born out of wedlock or orphaned, to maximize federal subsidies. Meaning, they took kids out of orphanages because orphanages didn't get a lot of money from the government, and they were sent to mental hospitals where they would get a lot of money from the government. And then victims endured severe physical, psychological, and schmexual abuse, with many subjected to forced isolation, electroshock therapy, lobotomies. For those who don't know what lobotomy is, it's surgery on the brain to remove a chunk of your brain, leaving you basically, you know, you're it's almost like you're no longer human. You're basically like a pet at this point, you know? Anyways, devastating collusion between the state and the church represents one of the darkest chapters in the Canadian child welfare. Survivors began organizing in the 90s to seek justice, while the Quebec government offered compensation packages in 2001 and 2006. Many survivors and advocacy groups have continued to fight for broader financial settlements, access to sealed record, and formal apologies. Meaning, within this whole organization that tortured, unalived thousands of children in Quebec, the state, province, state, same thing, the state where I live, not a single person was imprisoned, not a single person was held accountable. The only thing that happened, not a single person apologized. The only thing that happened is some of them, very little in comparison to how many children were actually tortured. Some of them received financial compensation, right? Sorry, there's gang stalkers in the chat. Let me just get rid of them real quick. Think you're better because you have gray hair? No, I think I'm better because I'm not a gang stalker. I'm not in your chat. You're in mine. I'm immediately better than you. What? What are you talking about? Hey, Cosmic Queen, how's it going? Long time no see. That's a huge last name in South Africa. Yeah. I mean, it's French. It's a French name, Duplessis. So, you know, South Africans are white South Africans are from Europe. They're from the Netherlands, is it? Yeah, yeah. White South Africans are usually from the Netherlands, but of course, you know, there are also French, you know. I mean, no one colonizes like the French and the English. Let's be, you know, or maybe the Spanish and the Portuguese, but yeah, the French get involved. Unfortunately, the French colonized West Africa, so there are many French speakers. Yeah, mainly white South Africans have the last name. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, you go to France, you might meet some French people who say they're French, and then they tell you their names, and you're like, that's an Italian name, or like, that's a German name. The countries are super close to each other. You can walk from Germany to France. You can walk from France to Italy. It's like a short train ride. It's like, I don't know, going from Oregon to California. It's a cultural erasure. Yeah, I wish I could get the notifications for your lives. I'm subbed, set to receive notifications. Just don't. Went through the other day and unsubbed to over 100 subs. I didn't sub to though. Well, that's weird. You were subbed to a bunch of pages you weren't subbed to. I mean, it's not shocking to me that you don't get notifications. I am suppressed. They've, sort of figured out that my page speaks on um, gang stalking, and my page is suppressed, and it's not a shocker. I was actually shocked to have that many views on my page at first because I see a lot of videos about gang stalking, a lot of pages that talk about gang stalking, and they don't get views like that. There are very few pages that get a lot of views that speak on gang stalking, and they usually stray from using the term gang stalking, and they talk about other things as well. So I'm not shocked. This stops nothing. Yeah, I will never shut up. You're gonna have to get rid of me, which I'm pretty sure they will though. But until then, you can catch me on live. 50% are perps. 50% of the people talking about gang stalking that are perps? What do you mean 50% are perps? 50% of whom are perps? Yeah. Anyways, it's too bad Lisa Campbell is no longer here. Um, what she said was very relevant. Um, the MK Ultra hearings were a huge letdown, especially if your hopes were high. People who watch your YouTube, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it says 18 people in here. I'm quite sure like at least 10 of them are just like gathering information, doing things to mess with me. Um, I mean, I can't lie. Not only do I not care what a gang stalker has to say, I'm fully aware that everything they say is either a lie or manipulation. It's just things they say or do to try to get a reaction out of me, or not out of me only. I'm not special here. Gang stalking is happening to people all over the world. They just do it to get reaction out of people. I mean, this could care less. You know, I I just I just find it funny how gang stalking tactics like this, they're supposed to hit your insecurities, which I have insecurities, but they always talk about my gray hair and the fact that I look old and young at the same time. That's something I'm like, these are two things that I really like about myself. So for them to like talk about that, I find it strange. I'm like, this is like a reverse compliment to me. Like, it would be like me seeing some dude and being like, yo, screw this guy. Look at him all handsome. Screw that guy. Weird. If you have a crush on me, I am married. I'm very sorry. It's important to laugh, guys. But yeah, they talked about Charles Manson. I thought that was so funny. It's so weird. Charles Manson has passed away in 2017. We're talking about it. Are you trying to get accountability for Charles Manson? Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm just saying there are more pressing matters. And, these people in power would have you believe that we don't know what's going on. We're finding out at the same time as you. Screw that. Thanks, Cosmic Queen. Don't tell nobody. Thanks, Carolum's Den. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate the compliment. I hope you're a man and not a woman, because my wife does not like women complimenting me. Yeah, they're weird. I give them no consideration. If anything, I'm just appreciative that they're here. because they boost my numbers. I mean, that's really all I like. That's all I, take from it. These people boost my numbers. I stopped blocking them. I stopped deleting their comments. I might mute them, but when you mute someone, they don't know that they're muted. They're just speaking into the void. But it's still a comment, and it still counts. It boosts me in the algorithm. It's not like I don't need it. So, anyways, but yeah, the MK Ultra hearing was a letdown. Not that I expected much. The FISA 702 expiration was a letdown. Not that I expected much either. The more I think about the solutions to gang stalking, the more I'm realizing that it's gonna have to come from us. It's gonna have to come from one of us, or some of us, or many of us, or all of us. But it's not gonna come from anyone in power. Anyone in power who has done things to actually help the little guy has been promptly taken out. I mean, just look at, really all you have to do is look at the president who abolished slavery. What happened to him? I wonder, do you guys know what happened to the president who abolished slavery? Do you know? You can tell when you are muted. Most Christians channels don't like me and I just want to chill. You know how I am. I really do get a lot of hate from lukewarm Christians. I don't know. The religious debates to me is just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I think a lot of people are fooled into, and some of these people are my friends, God bless their heart, but a lot of people are fooled into disliking Muslim people because of what they've heard about Muslim people and about Islam. They think that, oh, they're coming into our country to bring Sharia law. Uh, you know, and oftentimes it's coming from people whose very ancestors have literally taken over a country and decimated the population, like the native population, and forced them to accept their own religion. And it's like, no, they're not coming here to force their religion on you. As a matter of fact, that goes against their religion. A Muslim would never try to bring you into their religion. Never. I mean, unless you were like going down the wrong path and he felt that you needed the guidance or the brotherhood or something of that nature. But Muslims, they just want to be amongst, themselves and do their own thing. And, you know, anyways, I just find it funny. It's Christians will knock on your door. Jehovah's Witnesses will knock on your door. Mormons, who are also Christians, I guess, will knock on your door to try to bring you into their religion. When has a Muslim ever knocked on your door and told you, "I want to tell you about the good word of Muhammad"? Never happens. personal relationship with TMH. Holy Spirit is the way. What's TMH? Lorna? Oh man, you gotta go. Hopefully I remember that question for the next time you're here. There we go. Gracie said it. It's against our dean to push or judge people of other faith. We believe there is not just one way to God. You know, there's really like a brainwash. I find there has been a brainwash, especially ever since 9/11. There's been a brainwash against Muslims and Islam in general. When in reality, you know, Islam is a religion of peace. I mean, it truly is. It's a religion of peace. I don't know. You know, I mean, they have their own issues, just like any other religious group. You know, the Catholics, the Protestants, the Adventists, whatever. You know, the Sunni, the Shiites, whatever. They have their issues, but Islam is a religion of peace. I mean, even in the way that they greet each other. Salam alaikum. Walaikum salam. Peace be unto you. Unto you as well. Peace be unto you as well. Let's, anyways. I hate religious debates. I hate when people hate others for their religions. Do you know what's happening in Nigeria? I don't think they're being very peaceful there. No, they're not. Do you know the story? Do you know why everything is happening over there is happening? Do you know who's doing it? Do you know why they're doing it? Or are you just listening to the news and taking their word that, oh, this is a religious war? Am I having a... Oh, okay. Well, now you make me feel like I'm being a dick to you. I'm sorry. Um, okay. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. You make a good point. Yes, there are, there is, there are innocent Christians being targeted in Nigeria, but a lot of people would label wars religious wars. There are no religious wars. Never. Never. They may use that as like propaganda. The people that are actually inciting wars and, arming folks, you know, there are no religious wars. No, never in the history of ever has there ever been a religious war. There is an ulterior motive that is hidden behind the righteousness of religion. There are no religious wars, my friend. I would suggest that you inform yourself if it's truly interesting to you. But war is always about this, war is always about the same thing. It's always been about the same thing. It will always be about the same thing. And it has never been about my God is better than your God. That's That's what they put in front of you. That's what they tell you. War has always been about one thing and one thing only. Money, resources, land. Control. It's always about the same thing. They they spin a story to soldiers in order to convince them to go send their fellow man back to God under pretenses of he believes in a different God than you, or he's gonna come over and try to, take your way of life away from you. No, not at all. Anywhere you see the vibe, especially civil, like among the same people, the same country, anywhere you see the vibe, it's been orchestrated by someone who's gonna profit from it quite a bit. Look at Congo. And anyone who tries to unite their country under, one goal, trying to make their situations better for themselves, trying to, you know, stop the exploitation of their countries, of their people, of their resources by outside entities. See what happens to them. Gaddafi, Lumumba. Who else? I mean, look at Venezuela. Look at Venezuela. They went and got the president of Venezuela. Why? Why do you think they went and got him? Anyways. Hey, Cosmic Queen. Cosmic Queen tells a tale of a true gentleman. Gracie says, "Don't get me started. No one gives them a chance, but never once told me I need to find didn't break out the Quran, even though I wouldn't mind. I have read it twice." Yeah, I mean, I'm a Christian. I'm definitely interested in Islam. Not because like I would want to switch religion. I'm a Christian. I'm Team Jesus. Just because I like the, I guess the, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, I just like the values, the Muslim values. I mean, it's very anti-narcissism. I like that. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Wa alaikum salam. They quietly pushed Calvin Coolidge out. Who's Calvin Coolidge? I have no idea who that is. Hold on. Ah, I don't know about Calvin Coolidge. 20s. Hmm. Born in Vermont. Tax reductions. Fiscal conservatism. Laissez-faire economic policies. Laissez-faire means hands off. Well, it doesn't mean hands off, it means leave alone. Or, just you do you. Okay, that's interesting. Indeed, there is only one God, but there are many ways to God. My religion actually says that the only way to God is through Jesus Christ. However, what's up, peoples? Happy Thursday. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Interesting. Anyways, I don't know if you guys watched my I don't know if you guys watched my video regarding smear campaigns. I posted a video about smear campaigns that I filmed while I was in a car, so the sound is a bit off because I had to remove the background noise. It was real bad. I was just in a car and I was bored and I was just like, might as well. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there. And I decided to record basically how smear campaigns work. Sorry, to record how smear campaigns work. And basically, I was explaining how it starts with surveillance. The first thing is you get nominated by someone, whether it be a police officer, someone with some kind of authority will nominate you to put you on a list. And oftentimes the reason why you get nominated to be put on a list is because you're a whistleblower, you pissed off somebody, you pissed off a law enforcement officer, or you just pissed off someone. In my case, I pissed off a law enforcement officer on a pit bull forum 20 years ago. And he was already doing it. He was already gang stalking someone else on the forum. I remember he went online in the chat room of that forum and he basically was complaining about, you guys are messing with my life. You guys are, this is not funny anymore. I'm going to contact the FBI. And I was like, what is he talking about? Because all these people were, because on the forum you could see from like which state or country a person is from, and and I was thinking to myself, these guys are like this law enforcement officer is in California, this guy is in Pittsburgh, this other guy is in Philadelphia. Like, how are they messing with you? What are you talking about? I thought he was nuts. And then of course now I'm in his position. 20 years later, I'm realizing that, this was all real and it was already happening to someone else. They were already doing it to someone else and now they're doing it to me, right? But I, I was talking about how it starts, you You basically you stick out and the wrong person notices you through disrespect or because you dissented, someone in power. You said something that was anti-Trump or anti-Obama, or you were at a rally of some sort, or a manifestation. Manifestation. I don't know how to, I don't know what the word is in English. Anyways, but you stuck out somewhere and you get nominated, and then the illegal surveillance starts. And now that they have illegal surveillance on you through your phone, your laptops, your webcam, your tablets, your smartwatch, they then proceed to mess with your life. They cause you to lose your job. They call your job and they tell lies about you. Or if they've gathered something on you already, they tell truths about you that no one should know. And you lose your job, you can't get a job anywhere, you have issues in your life, with money, within your family, within you name it, right? I mean, if you lose your job, obviously your wife is not going to be too happy about it. You can't feed your kids. You become a burden to your own family, especially if you're a man. You're expected to provide. So, because of that frustration, you start to act out of character. You might have some really insane fights with your wife, who's not understanding what is happening to you, even if you did, which you probably don't yet. But she's not understanding what is happening to you. She thinks that it's your fault. You're messing up at work, so that's why you got fired. And you're not applying yourself. That's why you're not getting hired. And crazy things happen in your life, and you start to make the wrong decisions. You might steal. You might, sell some street pharmaceuticals. I haven't done any of these things, by the way. You might resort to anger a lot, if your neighbors are doing noise campaigns. You might have a big argument with them and it gets physical. Or, your arguments with your wife might get physical, or your husband, if it's a husband, it might get physical. You might put your hands on your man. It happens. People get angry. We are humans. And now they have evidence. Now they no longer have to lie or just say things about you. Now they have evidence of you doing something wrong, whether it be or doing something unsavory. Sometimes it's not wrong, it's unsavory. I don't know, maybe you're a woman and you start, an OF, maybe. And they start to spread it to everybody. Oh, this person is doing this. This person is immoral, and blah blah. And you start to have issues with people in your surroundings. Anyways, the point is, the people that are the people that are put into this program are 99% more than likely completely innocent of any wrongdoing. Just civilians, pure civilians, right? And through torture tactics, they're turned into a different person, a person that lets go of their own morals, a person that has no more patience, no more goodness in their hearts. You know, a person that they weren't before being tortured. And the people that are being recruited into participating in your torture are not aware. They're not aware that you were fully innocent. You haven't done it. You hadn't done anything wrong before being tortured and led into doing something wrong while being under illegal surveillance 24/7, of course. And even if you told them, they would just be like, you're lying. Of course you're lying. They wouldn't investigate you that much unless you already had done something. That's crazy talk, you know? But it's the truth. The people that are being illegally surveillanced, they were fully innocent of all wrongdoings. And anything that they've gathered on these people, they've usually gathered through torture. They tortured this person enough that they would start to act out of character, and now they have enough evidence to ruin your reputation with the true evidence of you doing something bad, like substance abuse, for example. But it's still a lie because it's a lie of omission. Even though they're saying the truth, it's a lie of omission. They're not saying we got this person to that point. And if you look at, hey Deb, how's it going? How are you? Haven't seen you in a long time. Oh, it's because I haven't been here in a long time. So they've gathered all this evidence while torturing you, you know, but they don't tell people that. Oh, it's like this ex-CIA, ex-FBI agent, Gavin O'Blennis, who was caught on hidden camera saying that it's easy to get someone to be imprisoned. It's easy. And then the person filming him, unbeknownst to Gavin O'Blennis, of course, asks him, how? And he says, you nudge them, you know? You just nudge them slowly towards making wrong decisions, And he kept saying, if we're trying to, to ruin your life, imprison you, we already know everything about you at that point. Illegal surveillance, right? And of course, he's talking about a person that is innocent of wrongdoings. It's like, oh, we sabotage them. We sabotage their lives. I mean, I can't lie to you, When I was a kid, when I was a young boy, I'm part of the generation that was told you can be anything you want in life. You can be anything you want. I'm part of that generation. And when I was a kid, they would say, by the time you're an adult, we'll probably have flying cars. I thought we'd have flying cars. Instead, we have secret mind control torture programs. Sorry, guys. Oh yeah, I wanted to see that guy's channel. Sports highlights. That's weird. What are you doing on my channel? Anyways. Are you a victim of gang stalking? Doubt it. Let me read some comments. The original program of gang stalking comes from the Stasi, former East German intelligence and agenda, and the name of the program there was Zersetzung. Zersetzung is a German word that means decomposition. And yes, it is, a lot of the program, the gang stalking program, takes ideas from Zersetzung. However, it was done before. This is not new at all. Unfortunately, it was done before. They did it in Taiwan. They would get children to, spy on their own parents. If they speak Taiwanese instead of Chinese, tell somebody. And then little kids would get their own parents imprisoned and unalived. You know, Pol Pot. Pol Pot. Pol Pot. His real name was God. He was a Vietnamese dictator. Hold on. They say he was a politician. He was a dictator. Pol Pot real name. He was Saloth Sar. Pol Pot, which means politique potentielle, which means potential politic. But Pol Pot was a Cambodian politician, revolutionary, and dictator who ruled democratic Kampuchea from 75 until his overthrow in 79. But Pol Pot ran the same program. There we go. You got it, Cambodian, the red Khmer. I didn't say that right. Sorry. But yeah, Pol Pot ran the same program, unlike a bunch of people. This is not new. This is not new at all. I mean, of course, Pol Pot was after Zafset Sung because Zafset Sung started in the 40s. But it was happening before Zafset Sung. And it's funny, you read the history books, and you'll read that it started happening after in East Germany. It started happening after the hey, thanks for the donation. I'm a real TI. I'm 27 years old and been going through this since I whistled the vaccine in Los Angeles. I'm struggling. Oh man. Little Tim versus the New World Order. I try to stay away from that subject. Obviously, you know why. But I'm sure we share the same opinion when it comes to that whole ordeal. And more information is coming out. More and more doctors are like, "Hey, we're finding these things in these people's bodies and these young people that have passed away and blah 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 things that we already knew." I never got it. I never got the shot. As a matter of fact, what happened to me is I used to be liberal. I used to vote liberal. And overnight, I became conservative. And I don't vote anymore though. But I am conservative. I mean, not that I would vote for any conservative or Republican or anyone for that matter. And no one gets my vote. I do not wish to participate. Speaking of, I do not wish to participate. That's pretty much the attitude I had around the whole. That's the attitude I had, right? And it wasn't because it wasn't for any political reasons. No, that's not true. It's just, the information was coming from the CDC. Do you know what the CDC is behind? Let me tell you. Oh man. The Tuskegee syphilis study. The Tuskegee study of untreated syphilis in the Negro male was a study conducted between 1932 and 1972, 40 years. 40. By the United States Public Health Service, which is still in operation, and the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, and Prevention. on a group of nearly 400 African American men with syphilis, as well as a control group without. Now, when they say 400 African American men, it's more like 2,000. They lie. They lie, right? Basically, what the study was is they would give vaccines to a bunch of Negro men, black people, black men. Sorry, I don't know why I said Negro. Um, they would give vaccines to a bunch of black men, and the vaccines contained syphilis, and they gave them syphilis. And then once they gave them syphilis, they started to offer them treatments for syphilis. And the only issue is for a lot of these men, most of them, the vaccines were fully empty. They were injecting saline solution into them, salt water, NaCl. They were just, saline solution is, it's what you get when you get an IV and like they, put fluids back in your body. They were just injecting these black men with syphilis with saline solution to find out through their study to find out what happens to the human body when syphilis is untreated. Which brings me to another subject that I will not talk about. Just know that it has to do with Lyme's disease. I'll let you research Lyme disease. Lyme's disease and syphilis, I'll let you research it by yourself and put it together. All I'm saying is Lyme disease comes from ticks, and ticks are being dropped in farms right now. You do the math and the research. Enjoy yourself. Anyways, so the point is the vaccine was being recommended and offered, and the information about the vaccine and the disease itself, not syphilis, the one that we dealt with in 2019. The information was coming from the CDC. I'm a black man. No apologies were offered about the Tuskegee syphilis study. No financial restitution was offered for the Tuskegee syphilis study. No one went to prison for the Tuskegee syphilis study. I will trust you when you hold people accountable. And since you never will, which is fine, I will never trust you. So I didn't get it. And the day I became conservative is when I tried to walk into Walmart. Before I get to that part, we had curfews. We had a curfew for months. We had a curfew in my state, province, state, same thing. We had a curfew. Everybody had to be home by 9. And if you were out, adults, everybody, it was everybody. And I'm telling you, the only reason why you could be outside after 9 is if you were walking your dog. I would walk my dog. The streets were empty. Everybody was home. For months, we had curfews. Curfews. Grown adults throughout my state, everybody stayed home because they were told to stay home by the prime minister, who's gone now, But we had curfews. When I tell my American friends that, they flip out. I'm like, what are you talking about, curfews? Curfews like back when we were like 15? Yeah. The prime minister looked directly into the camera and said, go home. You have a curfew at 9. You're a lawyer? I don't care. You're a doctor? I don't care. Well, doctors could. Actually, doctors were fine. They could go to work. But yeah, we had curfews. Anyways, the point I'm making is the reason why I became conservative is because I tried to go to Walmart and the greeter asked me, "Can I see your card?" I said, "I don't have one." And he said, "Well, if you don't have one, you can't walk in here." I said, "What? Excuse me? I need to do my groceries." And he says, "Well, you can go to a grocery store. Grocery stores will accept you, but Walmart is not just a grocery store. We sell other things and we will not accept clients in unless you get the the." And I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You can't come in here." I turned around and walked out of the store. From the store to my car, I became a conservative. I became a conservative. I said, "No, no, 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 no." Oh. And don't get me wrong, I would never vote for anyone. Conservatives, liberals, Republicans, Democrat. I don't care. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. But yeah, let's read some comments. I don't need to one and regret it. Fair enough. Hey Tuesday, how are you doing? How are you? Taken fasted, yeah. What's going on? How should I comfort family that I think betrayed me? Comfort comfort family? If they betrayed you, why would you comfort them? If they betrayed you, why would you call them family? You're not asking the right questions. Why are you concerned about how they feel? Confront. Ah, that's a much better question. That's a much better question. I love that question. So here's your answer. Don't. I mean, I know you still will. I understand that. You're still going to. Just understand that they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to gaslight you. They're going to pretend like they don't know what you're talking about. They're going to pretend like you're crazy. You need help. You need to speak to somebody. You know, if you're being gang stalked and your family's in on it, don't expect them to be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have participated in that." And I know I'm wasting my time telling you this, but I feel like you still deserve an answer. And here's the truth. The truth is, if they got your family members to flip on you, it's because they've observed. They're not just spying on you, man. They're spying on them as well. If they even approached your family members to try to get them to flip on you, it's because they saw some things, some characteristics in your family members that made them feel that these were prime targets for recruiting and gang stalking. And if you are a prime target for being recruited in gang stalking, that means that something in you, such as remorse, empathy, moral, is lacking. It's missing. So the same thing that allowed them to turn their backs on you and then not only turn their backs on you, because that's one thing, but the same thing that allowed them to participate in your torture, a family member, someone that they used to call a loved one, now they're participating in your torture. The same thing that allows them to do that and feel nothing about it, feel righteous about it. Also, that thing will not allow them to admit that they're wrong. It will not allow them to tell you the truth about what they're up to. It will not allow them to do the right thing and self-sacrifice for you and for what's right because they're not worried about what's right. If they were worried about what's right, it wouldn't be gang stalkers. Now, trust me, I know you're still going to confront them and perhaps you need it. So, do what you got to do. I'm just letting you know what's going to happen when you do. All right? I hope that helps. That's how I feel about family and no sign remorse after I refuse to take vaccine. They asked me to leave. Yeah, man. Family. I used to be really upset about my family members who turned on me, and I'm starting to realize that there are much more members of my family who have turned on me than I realized. As a matter of fact, one thing I also realized today is I thought I had lost 3 jobs because of gang stalking. It turns out that every single job I've had since I was 20, I've lost due to gang stalking. I was thinking about that today. I used to work customer service for Cirque du Soleil, like the circus. Cirque du Soleil. Everybody knows what Cirque du Soleil is, right? Cirque du Soleil is how Americans call it. It means Circus of the Sun. That's what it means. But I used to work customer service for Cirque du Soleil, and I got fired under super weird circumstances. And my boss, who was super cool, I mean, this is how cool he was, right? Um, I remember at one point I had a coworker that would partake in marijuana, and I don't. I've done it 3 times in my life. And the second time I did it was at that job. And I remember taking one puff and I was so out of it, I couldn't work. And my boss came to me and he was like, dude, what are you doing? You're not taking calls. And I just turned to him and I said, I feel sick. I'm not okay. And then people around me told him what I had done. And he just sent me home. Never talked to me about it again. Never had an issue with him. He was super cool, you know? And then months later, I got fired under super weird circumstances. He was super mean to me, wouldn't look me in the eye, just hated my guts. And he fired me, right? And just today, I was thinking about it and I had come to the realization, oh man, that was after my gang stalking started. They got me fired from that job. And then I was a taxi dispatcher and I got fired over there as well under super weird circumstances again. And I was thinking to myself, man, that wasn't me either. 'Cause, I mean, I had worked a bunch of jobs before because I've been working since I was 16. I had worked a bunch of jobs in the 4 years before my gang stalking started, and I never got fired. I never had any weird interactions with any bosses or anything like that. But as soon as my gang stalking started, I started having weird interactions at work. People hated me for no reason. And, of course, it started to get worse and worse and worse and worse everywhere I went. But I didn't put it together that, oh, these jobs, I was fired from these jobs as well because of that. And, I had never been fired anywhere before. I would just quit because I would move or because I found something better. But I kept getting fired at these jobs. Anyways. Yeah. It follows you everywhere you go. It sure does. It sure does follow you everywhere you go. I'm not gonna lie. When I found out that my family was in on it, that was really devastating to me. I was like, let me put it to you this way, right? Two of my cousins, two of them, who are involved in this, when I started being gang stalked and they were not involved in it, these are the cousins I went to ask for help. Like, hey, could you look at my computer? I know you're like an IT guy. Could you look at my computer? Both of them were good with computers. And I was like, I'm being stalked. I'm being, spied on. I didn't understand what gang stalking was at the time. I didn't understand what it was. I didn't understand that it was like a governmental thing. I thought it was just some crazy guy is hell bent on ruining my life, and he's getting people in my life to repeat things that I say when I'm home, or mention things that I say and do while I'm in the privacy of my home, talking to my girlfriend or having a conversation with my cousin. And now I'm at work and it's being repeated to me or around me. And it keeps happening. So I just thought, something strange is happening. But I'm definitely being spied on. Can you look at my computer? Because I figured the only way that they could spy on me was through my computer. Obviously, they were also spying on me through my phone. But these are the two cousins that I went to, and then they flipped on me. They joined in. Can you imagine the level of? I mean, I'm sure you can. You guys can, of course. But the level of like, what the fuckery I felt when I realized these same cousins who I'm so close to and I trust so much that I would go to them with a problem like this, something so embarrassing. They've turned on me. They've joined them. It was devastating to me, right? So, but I mean, nowadays, I just, I'm not so devastated anymore because what really devastated me about it was the idea that if all of these people are like turning on me, that I must deserve it. And I thought at some point, you kind of have to look at yourself. If everyone is turning on you, if everyone is, orchestrating to destroy your life and to hurt you, at some point you got to figure you did something wrong. Which I have. I did gossip about these cousins of mine, both of them. One more than the other, but both of them. And I felt like, well, I must deserve it to some degree. I must deserve it. Because they all seem to agree, and they can't all be wrong. And then I listened to Dr. De Facto, who basically spoke on directed conversation, and he said, I don't care what you did. Even if you are guilty of something, I don't care what it is that you did. You have no shame to carry. No one deserves this. The only people that should be ashamed are the people that participate in this activity. And of course, they never will feel shame, because in order to participate in gang stalking, you have to be very high in narcissistic traits, and narcissists do not feel remorse. Narcissism is basically a defense mechanism against shame. So, hey, you're welcome, Brandon. Like, you got it, man. He's great. He's seriously great. But yeah, I mean, the speech that he gave to me was so deep. He just said, it doesn't matter what you did. No one deserves this. What does everybody deserve, and what does everybody want? Grace, mercy, a second chance. No one deserves this. They may think you deserve it. So what? So what? Maybe you did something wrong. So what? You're human. And, it got me thinking about the fact that, a lot of these things that I've, said and done, I probably wouldn't have. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't have gossiped about my cousins, Maybe I would have, Gossiping used to be one of my biggest flaws. And I'm not saying like gossiping, like, running a smear campaign on someone, like going to people and going to their friends or whatever, but just gossiping among the people that I speak to, mostly my cousin, and my girlfriend at the time. That was really more of what of like the gossip that I would participate in. I would talk about other people to my cousin or my girlfriend, and I would say some, perhaps some mean things about these people. But it's like, so what? So what? Yes, that's wrong. Of course, it's wrong, and I shouldn't do it. And I make an effort not to do it anymore. But gang stalking, sabotaging my life. I mean, the last conversation I had with my cousin, who I thought was my uncle, but actually is my cousin, the last conversation I had with him, he was really excited about fooling me and trying to get information out of me and trying to set me up. I mean, he was excited at that idea. And he was like, "Oh, you can trust me. You can trust me. We should meet and talk." And the whole time I'm like, "You piece of I would." Anyways, may God bless him. May the Lord have mercy on his soul. Hopefully he repents before it's too late. I mean, I'm never gonna speak to him again. So it's not for me. I just hope for the best for him because he's my family. I love him. He's my family. I mean, the same goes for all of them, all of my family members who have participated in my gang stalking. The days where I'm angry and I wish hurtful things on them and I say hurtful words, that's not what I really want for them. That's not what I really wish for them. What I really want for them is I want their souls to be saved. Truthfully, I mean, I never want to speak to them again. Make no mistakes, but it's not because I'm mad at them. You know, I mean, I was. Make no mistakes, I was very mad at them, but it's not because I'm mad at them. I'm not mad at them anymore. I feel sorry for them more than anything because, um, what I said hurt them. I'm responsible for that. I said hurtful things about them. Perhaps maybe not, one of them. One of them, the things I said about him were not hurtful at all. But perhaps he's angry about the things I said about my other cousins, or perhaps he was told lies. I don't know. I don't give a shit. Uh, but what I said about two of my cousins was actually hurtful, and I'm responsible for hurting their feelings. And how they react to that is, they own it. I just hope that their feelings of anger and revenge does not drag them down the path of hell. You know, I'm not looking for forgiveness. I mean, I have apologized to them, to all three of them, many times, by the way. I'm not looking for forgiveness from them. Um, you know, I don't think I deserve it necessarily. I mean, at least one of them, I think I definitely don't deserve it. Um, the girl, I don't think I deserve forgiveness from her, and I don't expect it. I just really hope that they find it in their hearts to release the hatred that they have in their hearts, whatever that means or whatever that looks like for them. You know, does this ever go away? What do you mean, gang stalking? No, it never goes away. Never. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I've heard some people talk about, oh, I used to be gang stalked, but I'm no longer anymore. And then, of course, they're like, let me show you how. Send the deposit to whatever. Scam artists. Scamming gang stalking victims. There's a special place in hell for people who scam gang stalking victims. Brother, you can't be so hard on yourself for individuals with no empathy. I mean, I don't think I'm being hard on myself. I forgive myself, by all means. The things I said were horrible. They really were. The things I said were really horrible about my cousins. They were horrible. Now, they shouldn't have heard it, and they probably never would have. But the things I said about them were pretty horrible. Um, I shouldn't have said it. And I'm not being hard on myself when I say that the things I said about them was horrible because they were. Um, I forgive myself fully, 100%. I spend no time thinking about, not anymore. I spend no time anymore thinking about what I've said to them. I've said my apologies. I've made my peace with, the past me, and I've made my peace with the fact that, you know, I hold myself accountable for the things that I do and say, but I also keep in mind, um, you know, that I was being tortured at the time that I said it, you know? So for what it's worth, I don't know what it's worth, but for what it's worth, of course I was being low vibrational at the time. I'm not using this as like a shield against accountability. I'm accountable for my actions. I simply find it easier to forgive myself for my actions while being tortured. I think that's like a reasonable. I find that very reasonable. I forgive myself for my words and actions while I was tortured under MK Ultra 2.0 tactics, unbeknownst to me. And that's it. That's it. I'm not being hard on myself. I'm being truthful. I'm being um, accountable. They got to my husband. I'm sorry, Angela. Are you still with him? Oof. He's close friends with Freemasons? The Freemasons are involved. They are. From what I've heard. From what I've heard. Public shunning. Yeah. Amish do shunning well in their community. Yeah. And the Amish are very, they use shunning as a disciplinary tactic. It's very effective because we're social animals. I mean, we're social beings. Animals, sorry. We're social beings, you know. Shunning is really bad. It's really bad. There's a very good documentary here, The Minds of Men. Oh, interesting. I'll check that out. Mmm, interesting. Someone named Amber Mackey wrote a comment on my video. Sorry. Why are you talking to this doodle book? I don't know if she's talking about me or Marcus. Marcus did such a great interview with me. Marcus from Pushing Out Positive. His interview was really great. The guy is stellar. I don't know who's the doodle book, but that's a funny insult. Who talks like that? What are you? and born in 1900, 1902. What the fuck? This is like people said doodle book in the 20s or something. Doodle book? Ew. Sorry. Why did they go to church thinking they were going to receive God's grace? You know, one of my cousins who participates in gang stalking is actually, he goes to church. Hey, Tarai, how's it going? How are you? You enjoyed him. Enjoyed who? Who are we talking about? Yeah, one of my cousins who participates in my gang stalking actually goes to church. He's very religious. I don't know how he could possibly think. Well, I mean, I do know how. I'm asking stupid questions. You know, narcissists never think that they're wrong, no matter what. Marcus interview I enjoyed. I enjoyed Marcus interview a lot. Yeah, thanks, guys. He's great. He was awesome. He was awesome. He was very articulate and, you know, he explained things well. And I feel that, um, unfortunately, when it comes to explaining our experience with covert torture, image is important. It's very important how you present yourself when you tell people that you're being covertly tortured, especially if it involves V2K, especially if it involves directed energy weapons. I mean, not saying that like people will believe you just because you look completely normal, you're wearing a suit. People will believe you, they won't. But, you know, it makes it harder to, it's just that extra step of making it harder for people to dismiss you before they hear you out. Sometimes it makes a difference, you know. So I felt that he presented himself well and he spoke very well. And you know, not many of us are blessed with the ability to express ourselves well, especially in this, you know, within this experience. This is very emotionally draining and upsetting. And many people who listen to me, I mean, even in the interview, Marcus, in the first part of the interview, Marcus said, like, it's really insane how calm you are. Like, that's really the crazy part is how calm you are in asking me these questions and you're very patient. And I was like, right back at you, man. Like, the TIs I speak to are not calm and collected. You know, they're very all over the place and rightfully so. This is an awful experience and it's scary as fuck, you know? Like many of the people that are going through this don't even know who's behind this. And when you're going through it, they make sure to make you feel like it's everybody. Everybody's in on it. And it's not. But they make sure to make you feel that way. You know, so um I was very grateful to interview him and you know, he had asked me so long ago, he had asked me to do an interview with him. And you know, he didn't press the matter. So I kind of saw his message and I moved on because I was interviewing other people. And then at one point I was like mass sending links to a video to like people who messaged me before. And I saw him and then I saw his message and I sent him the link and then I was like, oh, he asked me to do an interview like 3 months ago. And I was like, hey man, you want to do an interview? And he was like, yeah, when? And I was like, right now. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it immediately. It was kind of like, anyways, I'm just grateful to Marcus. He's an important voice for the movement, I believe. I'm pretty unfortunate to have rallies for this in my city. I've met plenty TIs. What city are you in? It destroys the life of a TI totally. I think awareness is golden. That helps to know what could be coming. Yeah, yeah, awareness is very important. I think the most important thing about gang stalking and DC, yeah, this is where targeted justice does their rallies. Do you think that being narcissistic and high is high in certain cultures, such as the Caribbean? Yes, yes, it is. That's it's a remnant of slavery. Unfortunately, slavery is the physical embodiment of narcissism. I mean, thinking that you can own someone, and how slaves were treated. Uh, it's basically the physical form of narcissism. It's ownership of others. Narcissists do not see people as people; they see them as objects to be used. Sounds familiar? Anyways, but I'm from Haiti, and in Haiti, Haiti is the first nation of slaves to free itself. And even on our flag, on our country flag, it's written strength and unity because that's how they were able to free themselves. Pay attention to what I'm saying, please. That's how they were able to free themselves by uniting, right? And the motto that they had when it came to the slave revolution, not the revolution as in Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. I'm talking Nat Turner revolution. The motto that they have was "Coupe tête boule caille," which is in my language, Creole, Haitian Creole, means cut their heads, burn their homes. And when they say burn their homes, they don't mean homes, they mean families. So on the flag, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not advocating for violence, guys. I'm advocating for unity. But what I'm saying is that the reason why they were the first nation of slaves to free themselves is because they realized we outnumber them. We outnumber them. Why are they in control? We outnumber them. And then they realized that even though they outnumbered them, there was a lot of division between light skin and dark skin slaves, female and male slaves, young and old slaves, new slaves, freed slaves. There was a lot of division. And, Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture, they spread a message of we are one, which I believe are the words for Jamaica, one people or something like that. The motto, out of many, one people is the national motto for Jamaica. Out of many, one people. But basically, that's what it was. There's a naked lady on that flag. Anyways, sorry. The motto was unity, strength and unity. L'union fait la force, which translates to strength and unity. And they just got together, everybody. They forgot about their differences and they forgot about, uh, you know, what divided them. And of course, this division that they had amongst their people was not random. Slave masters made sure that their slaves were divided because it is easier to conquer, to reign over a divided people. It is possible to reign over a divided people. It is impossible to reign over a divided people, to conquer an undivided people. Sorry. So I think that, heed my words here, I think that, what I do, what I do is one thing. A lot of people will tell me, you're so courageous to speak up, and I'm so happy that you raise awareness about this. And personally, I feel like I don't do enough, right? Which is not true. I do plenty. I'm risking my life. Make no mistakes. I am risking my life speaking about this. The government did not implement this and put billions of dollars behind this torture program and, don't give a shit about the fact that I'm exposing it, right? I am risking my life here. However, what will, because all of us want this to end. That's what we want. We want this to end. We need this to stop. Everybody can empathize with the feeling of I want my life back. Right? Do you not want your life back? If you want your life back, please write it in the chat. I want my life back. If you would like to have your life back, write it in the chat. I want my life back. I want to see it. I want my life back. And I'm telling you, I'm being really honest with you here. If you want your life back, BJ says it, I want my life back. Taha says, yes, it needs to stop. If you want your life back, I know how to do it. I know how to make it happen. I'm Haitian. Revolution is not new to me. We don't move in fear. I want my life back. Bible mind control. I want my life back. Right? I can take you there. Let me tell you how you get your life back. Stop being quiet. You see what I'm doing here? Talking about this every day. Even if I don't make a YouTube video. Even if I don't edit a video and put something out. I'm on my Facebook talking about gang stalking every day. I'm on my Instagram talking about gang stalking every day. Stop being quiet. Be loud. Be annoying. Stop worrying about looking crazy. Stop worrying about this thing it's gonna get worse if I speak up. It's already getting worse. And it's also gonna get worse if you don't speak up. Do you feel like they're relaxing, they're backing off of you? Or do you not feel like this has been getting worse over time? Stop being quiet. Start a Facebook page about your gang stalking. Start an Instagram about your gang stalking. Start a YouTube page about your gang stalking. They cannot quiet all of us. They cannot stop all of us. They cannot deny all of us. But if we're divided and wasting time talking about who's a real TI, who's a fake TI, who's an agent, who's not an agent, who's doing a good job of sharing information about the program and who's not doing a good job about sharing the program while doing nothing and expecting others to free us. It's never gonna happen. You saw the MK Ultra hearing. I'm sorry if I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm being really rude to you guys right now. I want what's best for you. I promise you. I feel for all of you. I'm in the same situation as you. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of waking up every morning thinking to myself, this has to be a dream. This is a nightmare. I'm gonna wake up from it. I'm sick of dreaming at night and waking up to a nightmare every day. I'm sick of it. That's why I will never shut up about this shit until it ends. Now, make no mistakes. I'm going through the proper steps to make my life the best it can be. I'm doing the annoying thing that people say when you're going through smear campaigns and coercive control is focus on what you can control. Eat right, exercise, make sure you flower your the relationship you still have, you know, stay positive, do things that keep you positive. I'm doing all of it because I enjoy life. I like breathing, right? But I am sick of this shit. I want my life back. I want this to end. I want innocence to stop suffering. I want single mothers to stop being gang stalked. This is ridiculous. But you cannot, and I'm talking to you guys, everybody in the chat, you cannot expect this to end while remaining quiet. It's not going to happen. No one is coming to save you. You're going to have to start doing what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I know you don't want to. I don't want to either. I don't fucking feel like doing none of this shit. I don't want to be on live. I don't want to edit none of these videos. I don't want to post these videos. I don't want to post gang stalking shit on my Facebook every day, on my WhatsApp stories, on my Instagram. I don't want to have conversations about gang stalking, you know. I mean, I will say that, you know, I've met some really amazing people within the targeted individuals community. I've made a lot of friends, a lot of people that I consider, to, you know, more family than my own family. That's like a major positive. It's the people, you know, because unfortunately, you know, a lot of the people that are being targeted, they're really quality people. They're great people. But I am sick of this shit. And heed my words, no one's coming to save us. You know, can you imagine? Can you imagine if every single targeted individual did what I did? Do you know how fast gang stalking would end? Think about it. Think about how many targeted individuals there are. If you live in California, it's insane. If you live in DC, it's insane. If you live in New York, it's insane. Texas, New Mexico. If every targeted individual spoke up and said, this bullshit is happening to me. Here is how it works. Here's what's being done. Here's what happened to me. You know, here's my history of vandalism. Because the police is not going to come help us. No one is going to come help us. If everybody raises their voice, if all of us start to speak up and expose this program, it loses its power. I hope you guys didn't, I hope I wasn't rude. I hope you guys are not offended by how I'm speaking to you. I think you guys can feel the frustration. You know, I'm not putting on an act here. I'm a TI, and I have been for 20 years, which is a lot longer than most TIs, which I'm not saying because, you know, I'm not special here, all right? There are many TIs that have been going through this for 10 years, but they get a way worse experience than I do. They get V2K. They get directed energy weapons, right? I don't get V2K. I've been hit with directed energy weapons once, right? But my experience is still bullshit, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of this. And I want all of us to rise up at the same time and speak up. They can't deny us all if we all speak up. But if one out of every 10,000 TIs speaks up, no one hears them. Anyways. You know, funny enough, there's this famous actress from Montreal. I'm sorry, I'm changing subjects. There's this famous actress from Montreal. Her name is Marie-Josée Croze. She was not Cruz, Croze, Croze. Marie-Josée. I don't know. It's a French name. Uh, she lives in France now. But she found my video online because stalked by the feds. Lisa Legg had shared it, and she follows Lisa Legg because she's also being gang stalked. She's also a victim of gang stalking, and she messaged me, and she actually called me, which was insane. This girl's in like, uh, what's his name? The guy who made the movie Dune with Timothy Chalamet, the director. His name is Denis Villeneuve. She's in a movie. She's in a Denis Villeneuve movie, right? And out of nowhere, I'm looking at my phone and I'm getting a phone call from Marie-Josée Croze. She's calling me to tell me like I saw your video and you're so courageous. I'm so glad you're sharing this information. And I'm just the whole time I'm talking to her, right? And I'm not letting her know, but I'm like starstruck. Like this is an actress that I saw on TV. Anyways, um, but yeah, she shares my videos on her stories, and I thought that was really cool. There was also I had a conversation with Tommy Lee. The everybody knows who Tommy Lee is. I mean, unless you're like Gen Z or something. But Tommy Lee is the drummer from Motley Crue. His wife, um, what's her name? Brittany Furlan. I had a conversation with Brittany Furlan, and she was saying that it was happening to her as well. I had a conversation with her on TikTok. She was saying that it was happening to her as well. I've spoken to a lot of people. Um, yeah, it's I just think, sometimes you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching, and you never know who's going through the same thing as you. And if you speak up, oftentimes you'll realize, oh, shit. This is growing because it's hidden. That's its power. The power of this program is it's hidden. No one knows about it. And when they know about it, it's too late. They've been recruited or they're a victim of it. So speak up. Speak up, please, please. Lorna did it. Mindy's Meanderings, she's doing it. Mindy's Meanderings, she's doing it. Homesteading. Sorry, I can't remember. There's a lot of people that are speaking up. Speak up. Help me help you. Help me. Because it's a selfish request, I'm asking you for me. For us. Unity and strength. Strength and unity. If we all stand up and speak up. Eventually, some politician is going to be like, all these people will vote for me if I do something about this. Or, something is going to happen, but nothing will happen for as long as we keep our mouths shut. A closed mouth does not get fed. I feel like I'm being rude right now. I'm impatient. I'm feeling real anger at the moment. I'm hot. I hope my message went through and I didn't offend too much. And I hope this sparks something in you guys. In all of you. Because, I make jokes. And, I stay positive. And, for the most part, I'm calm, collected. but I am I'm sick of this shit. I follow this targeted individual on TikTok, and her handle is "I'm sick of this shit." And every time I see it, she wrote shit with a Y, but it's like I am dot sick dot of dot this dot shit. And every time I see her username, I'm like, I am sick of this shit too. Anyways, let's read some comments before I go. Thanks for your understanding, Taha. Appreciate you. Nothing selfish in the principle of one hand washes the other, and that's how they both get clean. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Help me help you. Help me. Help you. You better get all of them and spread them around in several flash drives because they're gonna go bye-bye. Yep, if you've got evidence of your gang stalking, send it to people. Send it to a bunch of people. Send it to everybody. Send it to yourself, to your emails, put it on different hard drives. You know, that's what I did. U.S. Senate started the same thing to speak up. Mordecai told Esther the same thing to speak up. Oh, that's interesting, right? What? Excuse me. The Book of Esther, which explains the origins of the Jewish festival of Purim. They were cousins and later adopted father and daughter who successfully saved the Jewish people from genocide in the Persian Empire. Well, that's interesting. Brush up on that. Thank you. I tried to message you, Kevin, on TikTok today. They have said you have too many messages. Oh shit. My phone. I'm going to try to empty out my messages. Maybe you could try Instagram or Facebook. I have the War Against Narcissism page on Facebook as well as Instagram. But yeah, I get a lot of messages from TIs on TikTok. I'm much more popular on TikTok than I am on YouTube. I am a bit suppressed on TikTok, but I have like 27,000 followers, and I get a lot of messages, and I don't answer to everybody. I just can't. I couldn't. So maybe try Instagram. I'd like to talk to you, Brandon. Truly. If you want to do an interview, I'd be down for sure. After they wiped this crap, my history directed a conversation got insanely polite everywhere I go. Everyone is so nice. I know you're doing directed conversation, but yeah, so yeah, yeah. That's actually part of the whole torture is the hot and cold. Like they go super nice and then they go super mean, or they go super nice and then they go super obvious. You know, I want my life back. I want my daughter to have her life back. Getting worse. You not rude. It is a nightmare. I'm ashamed to say I don't want to wake up anymore. Camisa. We shall overcome. All right? You know, I can understand the sentiment. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like, I have, unaliving ideations. I don't. I love my life. I love my life. I'm blessed to have a beautiful family. You know, I'm blessed with a community of targeted individuals that I met. I'm blessed with you guys. Throughout this whole ordeal, I've had fantastic opportunities as well. Don't get me wrong, I would much rather have not been gang stalked. But while I do understand your sentiment, Kamisa, I want you to know things will get better. Better days are coming. Um, Kamisa, if you're sick of this crap, if you're sick of this crap, I am going to subscribe to your channel right now. And I'm subscribed. I'm waiting for your first video. You have one subscriber on your page, Kamisa, and it's this guy. I'm waiting for your first video. I want you to make a video. If you need help on how to make your video and what to say or whatever, hit me up. I will be more than glad to help you. I'll write the text if you need it, truthfully, you know, or if you want to do an interview instead, we can do that. But if you're sick of this crap, I'm waiting for your video. I'm subscribed to you now. I'm expecting it. And if you're not going to do it, I expect you to message me and do an interview with me. I ask 8 questions during my interviews. You know, I mean, it usually lasts about an hour, but I only ask 8 questions. I'm waiting. Giving up is not an option. You have a daughter? Giving up is not an option. I'm waiting for you. B2K 24/7 for me. Damn. I'm sorry about that, man. Truth Rises, how you been, man? Long time no talk. Is anyone else able to talk back to V2Ks? I interviewed AJ, Gangstalk Talk with AJ, and he would say that his V2K would respond to his thoughts. He didn't even have to speak. I mean, of course it would respond to his speech, but he didn't even have to speak. It would respond to his thoughts. I also interviewed Andrew. I'm gonna interview Andrew next week. Andrew McCready. Like I said, I told you guys Andrew McCready is alive. He's doing well. He messaged me yesterday, and I'm doing an interview with him next week. I can't wait, man. Love Andrew. He's cool. But yeah, he said his V2K responds to him in real time as well. So I try to meet other targeted people, but we're also cautious. Yeah, I mean, with reasons, right? With understandably, right? I mean, so am I. The person that I find to be the most cautious, the TI that I find to be the most cautious that I've spoken to so far is Lisa Legg. However, given her experience, you know, and how many times she's been vandalized and broken into, and, you know, they've been messing with her electricity. I think she was living in New Mexico or something like that. And the power, the breaker, was on the outside of the house. Because it's Arizona, you know, it's just how they build homes over there. And she had to put a lock on it because they would just turn the electricity off in her room, only in her room, and then run off. And what losers. Incredible. But I've been talking to her lately. Yeah. I did what you do for years already, years ago. Taha. I'm glad to hear it. Do more. I mean, I hate to, to say it that way, right? But in the words of Kobe, is his job finished? Job's not finished. You know, there's still work to do. I mean, I'm not taking away from the fact that I know you're tired. I'm tired too. You know, I mean, I'm sorry. Like I realize I'm being a dick to you right now, but I want you to realize that I don't want to do this at all. I was playing Chained Echoes like a minute ago. I don't think they killed Kobe. I don't know. I don't. Maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he got targeted with those allegations. So maybe they did. Hey, maybe they did. It's a possibility. Time will tell. But yeah, Taha. I don't want to take away from anything that you've done or any efforts you've made. You've already, if you've already put out videos in the past about this, you've already done more than 99% of targeted individuals. Um, and, for the rest of the 99% of targeted individuals, still being here is the accomplishment. You did it. You're still here. Because this is not meant for you to still be here. So just the fact that you're waking up every day and you're choosing to go on and be strong, you know, you've done more than enough. I'm only saying if you want this to end, you know what to do. I had an NY state trooper come up on me while driving 70 miles an hour for about 5 minutes straight. Then they just switched lanes and drove away. Weird. That's strange. I had a Facebook page with 3,500 followers. I tweet there posted all these things. Is it still up? I'd like to see your videos. Is it still up? My grandma used to call my sister Doodlebug. It's cute. The book club may be something to do for me too. Huh? Marcus said they used fear to scare me from fear, if I remember correctly. What he said, the word he said exactly were they scared me. They scared me out of fear. They scared me right out of fear, right? It's like um, basically they scared him so much that he had no more fear to have anymore, and now he just walks with no fear. Like whatever happens will just happen. It is what it is. But here's what I'm doing in the meantime. I'm pushing out positive because I choose to. Because at the end of the day, that's what I have and that's what I can control. I respect that. It is courageous to choose positivity in this ordeal, in these conditions. That's true strength to choose to be positive and push out positive and help your fellow man through this ordeal while also going through this ordeal. I realize that's what I'm doing, and I don't mean to like toot my own horn. I'm just saying I admire that in Marcus. And the message that I'm saying today is I want you guys to realize that you're also going to have to do that. If you want this to end, you're also going to have to do it. I hope you guys heed my words. I want to see some. I want to see some videos from you guys, some testimonies. Show your face. Raise your hand. Join me. I'm going through this as well. Gang stalking is real. Sorry. Anyways, I gotta go, guys. My wife's making chicken wings. I'm about to devour. Hey, Brandon, hit me up. Instagram, Facebook. I am the War Against Narcissism everywhere. Hit me up. I'm gonna have to empty out my TikTok messages because I did not know I was not getting messages anymore. Anyways, as always, guys, as always, you deserve grace, you deserve mercy. Love yourself first, always. Take care and be strong. Yeah, stay strong and positive. There you go. And remember what I said. Strength in unity. You see what I'm doing. I'm not special. I'm a college dropout. I mean, I gained my degree after, but you know, I'm not special. There's nothing special about me. I'm just a dude with a phone. I promise you. Lorna's channel. Let me get that for you. Somebody's asking for Lorna's channel. Lorna's channel is really good. She shows some really nice landscape. Just a second. Lorna. There you go. I'm gonna put it in the chat. There we go. That's Lorna's channel. Lorna.m64. Hey, you're welcome, Tarai. You're welcome. So, yeah, last thing I want to say. You deserve grace, you deserve mercy, love yourself, and heed my words. Heed my words. None of this ends. For as long as you stay quiet, none of this ends. Raise your voices. Raise your voices. My next video will be about that. I'm going to find the right words to say to rally up the troops. That's my next mission. Have a good one, guys. Love you.